All right, well, hello everybody, and welcome to Tangent TV. My name is Joseph Lanzalata, and I am the Student Entrepreneurship Program Manager for Tangent, Trinity's Ideas Workspace. I am very happy to welcome our guest today for our second of the three-part series on storytelling, Shreya Patar. Thank you for coming on, Shreya.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Not absolutely. So, Shreya is an accomplished copywriter, LinkedIn campus editor, and content writer extraordinaire. So, I am very excited to learn a bit about what you've done in the past, what you have, and what we can know about storytelling in copywriting and those sorts of things. But to start us off, I just want to, we obviously know each other a bit from your engagement with Tangent and Trinity thus far. Since you've been in Trinity, you've gotten very engaged. In the college, you were the public relations officer for TESS, the Trinity Entrepreneurial Society. You were a part of the Tangent TEP module, the Trinity Education Project module, and the way that we know each other is the Launchpad Sprints program, so the early stage incubator for new ideas. Maybe you'll talk about your idea in a little bit, but I'd just like to start off by asking what's been your experience getting into Trinity and getting involved in the innovation ecosystem?
I think it's been so different, and because I mean, honestly, that's not something I expected that I would do. I study English and philosophy, and the business school is literally on the other side of the world. It's like on the other side of the campus. It's so different, and it's not really something I imagined I would be doing. But right from the freshers week, like the first year in college, I got so involved with TESS and this whole side of business and ideas and creating and meeting people and discussing something new. And I really enjoyed it, and I think that's why I stuck with it, and I took up the design thinking module last semester. And yeah, I think that it has really changed everything I do. I mean, because I write, and you have to have a different sort of mindset, and just hanging out in the business school with people like you has really put me in that zone. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Like, I'm glad you've
Yeah.
gotten something out of it. And I come to understand that you've recently gotten word that you will be participating in our undergraduate certificate, Innovation Entrepreneurship, next year. So we
Yeah,
might,
I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll be seeing more of you in the coming year. I'm excited to
Yes.
see it. For anybody else who wants to take a look, I think I'll put the link somewhere in the description to look at the undergraduate certificate if you'd like. And if you want to see more about Shreya, all of the links are in the description, so do follow her on everything. I know that you have a massive following on LinkedIn already, so you've put the word out there. So I want to start by asking you what might be an obvious question to you, but is kind of a bit like just of an intro for me. What exactly is copywriting, and how did you get started in the world of doing that?
So copywriting, like to put it simply, is basically anything, any word that sells. So, you see things on ads, you see banners, you see, just maybe on a cornflakes box that says light and crunchy flakes, those things that really make you want to buy something. I think that would be basically copywriting. And I like for once, like I have been writing since I was really young, since I was 8. But that kind of writing was very different. It was a lot of poems and a lot of rants and musings. But I think like once I got into internships, like formal internships where I was exposed to, the kind of writing that had to be done to, build a brand, to get clients, to sell something, to sell a product. And honestly, while interning and while doing that, I realized that I'm actually pretty good at it, and I do enjoy it. So I stuck with it, and things just fell into place. Actually, like I didn't really, it was never my plan as such to really just do copywriting, but I think just things just worked out magically, and I kept doing things, and just things kept coming to me, and that's how I'm into copywriting.
That's awesome. So it was kind of like a thing that you went out there to try and it worked, so it stuck and you ran with it a bit more.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So it sounds to me like it's almost like it's like copywriting is essentially the word-based version of advertising, and you're writing essentially advertisements for companies. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, I think there's a broader term to it. Like, even in the YouTube description that you've put now, you've written about tangent. So you're talking about, why tangent, what tangent does, why tangent is good for you, and, why you could join. So that kind of thing that kind of persuades the reader as to know more and find out more. So it's not just advertising, it can be anything that connects with readers and actually makes them want to take the next step and know you more.
Okay,
So
that's really
yeah.
interesting. I'd love to get your advice on how, as we build this platform, Tangent TV, we might be able to do a bit more. So I might be coming back to you for some advice on that, if that's cool.
Absolutely fine. Yes.
Awesome. So I like the topic of this series is called storytelling. So I wanted to get your take on, in the world of copywriting, how does storytelling play a part? So like, if building a story and building a narrative around what it is that you're writing, how does that fit together for you?
So I think that, storytelling has been something that we have been doing for a long, long time. I mean, if you really go back, then storytelling was something that started on caves in the walls, the carvings, and then it moved on to maybe sculptures and architecture, and then it moved on to paintings. And, eventually, like, all this evolution has just led to it becoming digital. And that's what we see now. So everything is basically storytelling. I'm telling you my story right now. So I think that, storytelling is something that really connects people, like, with each other, because at the end of the day, we have the same emotions, the same reactions, the same actions, the same feelings. And, most of us see things the same way and we interpret them the same way. So just that very simple feelings of, be it happiness, frustration, anger, and just, gratitude, these things are what connect people. And I think people really like that narrative because they really want to be a part of something that's bigger than them. So they really want to be a part of your story. They want to be a part of my story. They want to be a part of our journeys. And I think that's why storytelling is so important, because, you kind of take the reader along with you on your path rather than, just sharing what you're doing. So that's why I really rely on stories for anything I portray.
And I'd imagine it could be an inspirational process in that way, that you're telling your story, and as you evolve, you said you started copywriting as something that you wanted to try, and then now it's something that has become a big part of your life, and even just sharing that journey with people. I know you know a number of other copywriters that are going through some of the same challenges as you.
Yeah.
It's an interesting world. I know one way that you're sharing stories is as a LinkedIn campus editor for Trinity. Can you tell me a little bit about what a LinkedIn campus editor is and how you do that?
So a LinkedIn campus editor is like the ambassador for LinkedIn on campus, in this case for Trinity. And my aim is to, really inspire students and inspire students to leverage LinkedIn, because even when I had a LinkedIn profile for like a long time, but I always thought that it's something that's a resume, that's something that, if you want to find a job, you can maybe text people and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. But it took some time to realize that it's also for someone who's not graduated yet. It's also for, like, 18-year-olds, for 12-year-olds. It's for everyone who wants to just, be out there and, in a sense, be online. And I think LinkedIn has that power because, in a sense, you can connect with people of all levels, right from your colleagues, right from your students to your professors to even the dean of your college. You can connect with everyone, you can message everyone. So I really want to bring that out and make students understand that it's not just a job, it's for you, and it's for you to show yourself off, in a sense. And that you should do that. You shouldn't feel guilty about putting out your achievements, because it's important, especially right now. It's everything is so competitive. So you should definitely keep putting out things and make yourself known and make your virtual mark, as they call it.
I love that. Make your virtual mark. You're making your
Yeah.
statement on the in the digital world, which is so much a part of our like physical world today. Of like everything that's
Yeah.
going on, it tends to be moving online, and that's a big part of why we kind of launched Tangent TV in the first place. Is we've been kind of forced into this space of, well, we have great contact and great people to share with the innovation entrepreneurial community. This is the medium that we're able to do it, that isn't going to go away despite whatever may happen in the world at large.
Yeah.
So you've been a part of telling stories uh, as a LinkedIn campus editor, or in general at Trinity. How do you go about finding a good story to tell, or when you see it, how do you know a story is a good one to tell? What makes that decision in your mind?
When I first started writing, especially on LinkedIn, because that's where I put all my personal stories, That was a big question for me. I mean, I was like, is this worth putting out? Should I put this out? Is this something that people will learn from? Is this something that people will find valuable? And, will it get enough engagement or likes or comments? But I think with time, I realized that it's not about, what stories are perfect. It's just about what stories I have to tell. And I shouldn't be looking for, like, approval from others whether the story was good enough or not, because it's my life. It's, you like it or not, it's what I am, who I am, and it's my experience. And I think I realized that more than just putting out the best incidents about my life, this was about documenting my journey. So if you just go back to like a post, like my post from 1 year ago, and you'll see the difference. It'll be like you'll see the change not only in my writing style, but even in how I expressed myself, how confident I was, and what I found worthy of, really highlighting. So I think for me, if that's a part of my journey, and if that's something I really am comfortable putting out there, I will do it, because just come along with me on this journey. That's all I can say, I guess.
Absolutely, and it looks like there are a lot of people coming on that journey with you, so it's exciting to see.
Yeah.
I had another question, because we do have time here, so I had another question here about the medium of communication, because obviously stories can be told in video, in audio, in written form, and with the world today, a lot of times people's attention spans tend to be shrinking. Like, the short form video content is doing well, but I think LinkedIn in particular is a unique case where long form written word actually does relatively well, and there are other platforms that have it as well. What has been your experience in writing that more long form sort of content and getting engagement from people? I'd be interested in your take on it today and how that fits into the broader storytelling ecosystem.
I think that the length of any kind of content should be more about what you want to say rather than how long you want it to be. So there are, like, even earlier, I used to write, so LinkedIn specifically, I write on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has this character limit of 1,300 for posts. And then, of course, it has articles as well. So when I used to write a post, I used to try to fill in as much as I could. I used to give in every single detail. I used to, like, hit the word count, and then LinkedIn would say, you cannot post this, you are 500 characters over and whatnot. And that's what I used to do initially, because I thought you really have to say everything to convey your message. But lately, I have gone in for different kinds of things. So I just post one line saying, this is what I did, and sometimes I post a whole article. So, and I realized that both of them, or rather all of them, kind of work out the same way. If people connect with it, they will. It doesn't matter how many words you use. So instead of thinking of what does well by the algorithm, or what is good for people, I think you should just do what you feel is good for you and how you want to tell your story. Because other things are, I think, all vanity metrics, kind of, the word count is doesn't really matter. It's about what you express and how you express it. So if you can do it in one word, do it, just do it. But yeah, like, you don't have to force yourself into creating long form content.
That's really interesting. I love the take of, like, you don't have to make it fit for, like, the don't be at the will of the platform. You're writing for a story to be shared. It doesn't have to be for the person, or it doesn't have to be just because the platform says. Like, you don't, even
Yeah.
if you're on Twitter, you don't have to use all of the characters. It's just whatever it takes
Yeah.
to convey that message. I think that's
Right.
powerful, and it kind of keeps the power in the hands of the person who is doing the writing.
Mhm.
I'm interested, being a freelancer, being a copywriter. You fall into the category of essentially a freelancer. So doing freelance work, you have multiple clients. You're working with a lot of people and telling a lot of different stories for a lot of different people. What has been your experience in kind of keeping that all organized? That's a lot to keep under control. I'm sure there are challenges there. Could you tell me a bit about them?
So yeah, I mean, I think we talked a lot about this during the sprints, and you helped me a lot with the whole startup thingy. And yeah, I think one of the main challenges I find is communication, because there are so many ways to communicate with people. And especially when you have, when you're a freelancer client kind of thing, you have to keep it formal, but again, you have to be accessible. So you end up, talking over email, and then you also have them over WhatsApp, and then you work over so many things. And right now, especially when I'm done with college and when I can accept more work, it's very different because suddenly there's more people, and it's not only work, it's also attending 3 calls a day, it's having interviews, it's having webinars and meeting people. And because of that, it's so important to prioritize. And I think, that does fall into a big spot. Like, the communication has to be very clear cut, and you have to kind of, really balance it out. And yeah, I think it just changes with experience. Initially, I used to be very overwhelmed by this big, hurdle of communication, but I think I'm doing better now just by prioritizing it in my head. So
Absolutely, and there's one thing to be said for prioritizing in your head, but full transparency, this is a bit of a leading question because I do know that you are working on something to try and solve this. I know that in
yeah.
your process, as you've evolved, you've come up with kind of little systems. I've seen the Excel sheets to try and manage your process. But in the Launchpad Sprints program, where you came through and incubated a bit of an idea, you came out with what has been named Doozy. So can you tell me a bit about what Doozy aims to accomplish and how that kind of fits into that world of the challenges of a freelancer?
So, I mean, you know it all. You know everything. You know the
But the
back and
audience
the
doesn't
front.
yet, so.
You know everything. Yes. So I think, I mean, with Doozy, my one aim is to really make the whole process seamless. So as a freelancer and as a client, I really want to make the communication seamless, the work seamless. I want to make it easier for everyone to stay in touch, everyone to work from one platform, and find work, because finding work and also, making sure you're getting timely payments, all of these things, everything, every step is different. And as a freelancer, you're like a whole agency by yourself. You're your own accountant, you market yourself, you make the calls, you book the calls, you cancel the calls, you do everything. So it's a lot of work. So I really want to, with Doozy, I really want to make that easier. And we are looking for funding for Doozy right now, because we have, as the judges call, like at Dragon's Den, as the judges called it, an ambitious project. So we do have an ambitious project, and I think, we are definitely looking for funding to make it work out at the best possible way and as quickly as we can.
Absolutely. Well, so if people do want to reach out to you, I think I know the answer, but where would be the best place for them to find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, Shreya Patar, and the other descriptions, I mean, the other contact things are in the description in this video. So you can reach out to me anywhere.
Absolutely. Well, this
Yeah.
has been amazing, Shreya. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. And I look forward to seeing more of you in the undergraduate certificate this upcoming year. Maybe we'll have a
Yeah.
chat about that at some time in the future. But
Sure.
yeah, as Shreya said, if you guys want to reach out to her, find her on LinkedIn. If you want to follow Tangent, all our social medias are down below. But I've just realized that I left out the LinkedIn little logo below. So we are on LinkedIn as well if you want to find us there. But once again, Shreya, thank you so much for coming on, and we hope to
Yeah.
see everybody at the next episode of our series, which will be next Thursday. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
No worries. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.